Thank you very much for joining me on this special Coffee with the Editor session.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Live here in Oxford,
Yeah.
Among the crowd. And I want to talk to you today about the paper that you and your colleagues from Athens have published in IFST this year about honey and honey authentication. And we've got an image of that up there in front of us about the chemometric differentiation of Greek, chestnut, and oak honeydew honeys. But my first question is, why honey?
Because honey is one of the three products in Greece that is well known, and the Ministry of Agriculture is financing, apart from honey, olive oil, and wine. So these are the three main food pillars, shall we say, for the Greek food economy. So because we have a lot of honey producers, the honey producers are third in Europe. The first one is Spain, and the second one is Romania. So Greece is the third country in Europe that produces honey, and honey beekeepers have more hives than others in Europe. So we were trying to see these types of honey, this type of honey, whether we can discriminate them between each other, and also in some previous work we have done some other discrimination between honeydew honeys and multifloral or monofloral honeys.
So is that food authentication really something that consumers need to be aware of and concerned about?
Yes, for sure food authentication is very important. Also geographical, to know where the honey is coming from. That's the most important thing. Is it from Greece? If it is from Greece, from which place? North, southern, central Greece, where? So onto the label we need to show to the consumer what is the type of honey, where does it come from, and if it's authentic.
Why?
Yes, because we have a lot of frauds in honey.
Okay.
Europe is struggling a lot with honey fraud.
So in terms of the industry, there's an economic aspect to it, but in terms of the consumer, it's more about that trust and that understanding where it's coming, that provenance, would you say?
Yeah, for the food industry, of course, it's very important to know the producers. They need to have traceability, as we said in the morning. And for the consumers, they need really to know if the honey is indeed honey and not just water with syrup.
So honey that I buy in the supermarket could be just sugar and water?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
And of course, this depends also on how the bees are fed. There are some beekeepers that, in order to make bees produce more and more honey, they give them different types of syrups. So we need to show to the consumer that we have the technology to authenticate the honey.
Okay.
We have several types of syrups that the beekeepers are using, and the last years there are some types of rice syrups that it's difficult to see that they're inside. They need specific instrumental techniques in order to prove that it's not honey, but it's, let's say, a rice syrup or something else.
So you see the silver fern here. I've spent many years in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And Manuka honey and the Manuka quality of honey is something that we put on the label for that health benefit. So the rice honeys, will they have health benefits for the consumer?
Well, Manuka is well known for the benefits. That is why it's quite expensive. But there are some other type of honeys produced all over Europe, like in Greece, Turkey, Romania, Spain, and so on, that are quite good. They have bioactive compounds that they can give to the consumers the activity that they are looking for. I mean, like health-promoting effects and so on. We did compare some Greek honeys with Manuka honey, and we have seen some good and some bad things. To some Manuka honey, we have seen some increased concentration of sucrose, which was a little bit above 5% of what at least the European Union has regulated for honeys. So in order honey to be real honey, it should not contain more than 5% of sucrose.
Okay.
Of course, that's one bad thing that happened to a couple of samples. Of course, it's a matter of samples. But for sure, Manuka honey is very good honey. I don't know if people have tasted it. It's kind of bitter, so just a small spoon.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste. It depends on what you like. But for those who like honeys with intense flavor and other types of flavors like smoke flavors, flower flavors, and so on, there are a lot of type of honeys like chestnut or like oak tree honey that they are very good and very tasty.
So where are you taking this research now? What's the next step for this research?
After doing this research, we have concluded that we have found some markers that they can differentiate chestnut and oak tree honeys, because they both give honeydew and nectar at the beginning of summer. So a lot of consumers, they don't know what type of honey they purchase. Is it either oak tree or is it chestnut? Because they're both very good honeys, dark color honeys with a lot of antioxidant, antimicrobial activities and so on. So we wanted to find some markers to discriminate these two types of honeys. We have done the same thing for other types of honey. Like I said before, multiflora or monoflora honeys. So this is the main work of our lab, to have different types of honeys from all over the world. Last month, I think we got some honeys from US, which were actually not from US, but they were from Latin American countries. So we wanted to see whether they have similar markers like the honeys in Europe and so on. Of course, they didn't have similar markers, but indeed they were quite good honeys, but with some, it's a compound which is called HMF, hydroxymethylfurfural, which was quite increased. This shows that the honey was left in high temperatures, or it was stayed in the box for a long time. But of course, it's up to the consumer to decide which honeys they prefer, which flavors they prefer. So what we can offer to them is just tell them that yes, this honey that you bought is authentic.
So one of the things that I don't think about when I buy honey is how long it's been on the shelf. And you mentioned that there is a little bit of a shelf stability, shelf longevity of it.
Have you checked if it's crystallized when you buy it?
Not always, but sometimes. You know.
Yeah. Well, crystallization is a natural procedure that occurs in honeys. If you don't see crystallization, this maybe triggers some questions, whether it's authentic
natural
or not, natural or not.
So, to round off this conversation, which was really interesting, thank you. If you were talking to the camera, for instance, and giving a 1 minute, 2 minute sort of elevator speech to general public about what they should be looking for in honey and making sure it's authentic and healthy, what would you say?
I would say that they should check the type of the flowers that the honey is produced, the country of origin, expiration date, because all the honeys they're supposed to have expiration dates up to 1 year, but of course also if it's crystallized or not. For sure, honeys that they are commercially available, they have passed through a technique that they cannot crystallize. That's what food industry does. But if you get honey that is crystallized, for sure it's original, it's not from a food industry prepared. And if you don't see it crystallized, as I told you before, you need to think of reasons for not being crystallized. If you let the honey in crystallized form for a long time, then acetic acid is produced. And maybe if you taste it, you can taste a rancid type of taste. So have this in mind.
Thank you. So thank you very much for this coffee with the
Thank you.
I'm sure that we'll go out into the sunshine and have some coffee or water or something later on.
Yeah, why not?
But also, if you're interested in the paper which is behind us, I'll put a link into the comment section so that you can click directly onto it and learn a little bit more about this exciting research. In the meantime, Charalampos, thank you very much for coming here, and I look forward to tasting some Greek honey in the future.
Yeah, why not? You're always welcome in Greece, you know that.
Cheers.
Yes.